What is up, guys? Chris here, and today I'm going to be covering a lot of information on the new Bungie title, Destiny. I'll give you guys an in-depth look and description of what exactly Destiny is and what to expect from Bungie's next big series. I went ahead and decided to start covering it now than later, since this game is probably going to be one of the best games coming to next generation consoles. So first off, this game looks really amazing, but there's a lot of unknowns about this game. Is it an MMO? Is it a first-person shooter? Is it an open world game? Well, sort of kind of all those things combined. Earlier this year at the GDC, Bungie gave us a really good idea of what exactly Destiny is. They went on to state that Destiny is Bungie's next great action shooter, set in a persistent world that you share with other players. Bungie wanted to build a world that mattered, not only to them, but the people who played in that world. They wanted to create a world that lasted, but also a world that was really flexible, where they could add any crazy idea that they dreamt up. They wanted to make Destiny very hopeful and inviting, but also feel very real and filled with tons of mystery and adventure that gives you tons of reasons to come back to this world. And at last, they wanted to build a world where you could become a legend and be recognized for your achievements, and where you can leave a mark on all of humanity. Destiny has been in the making for 6 years now and has taken on several different genre types. It actually started off as a fantasy world. They loved the idea of a fantasy world, but they couldn't get away from the fact that they love science fiction, and that ancient relics are cool, but so are derelict spaceships. Both very powerful, mysterious things that make you want to explore them more. So then they decided that Destiny should be both, some sci-fi mixed with fantasy, to create the genre that they call mythic science fiction. This picture really captures what they were going for in Destiny. The character has amazing cloaks, guns, customizations, and ties together the whole idea of sci-fi fantasy. They wanted you to question this picture of where are they, and who are they? When they began to mix fantasy with science fiction, they started to explore spaceships. These are a few of the hundreds of designs they created for Destiny spaceships. When exploring different ideas for spaceships, that's where they came up with this. Bungie calls this the Traveler. It's a very mysterious type sphere. While Bungie was exploring places for the game to take place, they decided what better place to make it than an Earth city. After months of work, they decided to put the Traveler right above this city, making the city the last safe city on Earth. The Traveler is an odd sphere that possesses mysterious powers. Bungie's goal was to make players curious, to allow the player to explore their own imagination and come up with their own answers to the questions Bungie left unanswered. Within this city is a tower where players can gear up and get ready for battle. There's also a hangar where you can store your ship when you're not charging off into deep space. When creating Destiny, they needed to draw on inspiration to help make their world feel like an idealized reality. They played off of westerns for inspiration. The whole idea of frontiers is very present in westerns, which is perfect for how they wanted to treat Earth and their solar system. They also drew inspiration from lighting and moods in movies. They tried to idolize reality in a very visual manner. They also didn't want to take themselves too seriously, so they focused on other movies that provided inspiration for adventure, humor, and inventiveness. They loved the idea of a futuristic game that you could have an ancient map for, and that became one of their keystone images. They also drew inspiration from 70s sci-fi art. The palette ideas in those paintings felt larger than life, and that's what they were going for in Destiny. They tried to create imagery that invited you to want more. Bungie also looked towards architecture for inspiration, which influenced the look of Venus. Anime was also a strong influence in Destiny as well. They loved the sense of style and the great futuristic industrial designs that anime had. The big challenge was to unify all these influences and more and turn them into a concrete art direction that they could follow. Now, even to this day, it's still a challenge for them. Believe it or not, Bungie created more concept art than any of the Bungie games combined for Destiny. They joked enough to build 7 worlds. They needed to unify all that together. One of the ways they attempted to unify and stylize that world was through palette. They wanted their colors to look slightly aged. It allows them to take a futuristic element like spaceships or guns and add a feeling of history. From there, they went on to gather references of interesting non-traditional palette images that had this aged look and the idolized reality that they were going for. Here's some of those influences. Here you can see some of their influences from anime in the armor, some of the attitude and cloth from the westerns in the middle image, and definitely some of the fantasy images showing through with the warlock. The worlds started coming together as well. This is a place called the Black Garden, where you can see some of their inspiration showing through. Here's the Dead Forest of Mars. You can see they explored the non-traditional palette that they mentioned. Not what you would really expect from Mars, but something that was fun for them to play with. And here are some Onyx pyramid ships. We're not quite sure what these are yet, but they did say we find out later on down the road, so hopefully at E3. Next, Bungie really wanted to focus on mystery and adventure. At Bungie, they really believed that mystery and adventure began at the intersection of the expected and the unexpected, at places in the world where strong visual themes collide, where the familiar meets the strange. Bungie thought what better place to explore next than the moon. They thought it would be cool that the deeper you explored, the more strange the moon became. that if you followed a crack, it would lead you upon a giant alien hellmouth cracking the lunar surface. And as you began to explore deeper, it led you into the heart of a hidden fortress where a dark army dreams of conquest and corruption. Bungie explored many places like this that were filled with mystery and adventure, where they could lead players from familiar to the strange. These are a couple of Bungie's images. This is the jungle-choked towers of the Mumbai Push and the flooded streets of old Chicago, and a frozen city occupied by an army of machines, where buildings, skyscrapers, towers have become dungeons, with their lower floors buried in snow. Bungie created a ton of this stuff, and the problem with that was it created a challenge of focus. Bungie needed to narrow their focus and move a big team that was trying to wrap its head around mythic sci-fi fantasy and idealized reality into production mode. Bungie was setting out to build a big living world that evolved over time, a world that drew you back again and again, and the scope of that task was overwhelming. The solution to this challenge boiled down to three things. First, a unifying visual theme to bind all these places in the world together, so no matter where you went, you would always see some nature ascendant over lost human civilization. Second, Bungie needed postcards, just like the images I showed earlier of the heroes with the tiger or the traveler hanging low above the earth. Postcards that would define the mood and palette and core fiction for the places in Destiny. And third, Bungie needed a tool, one they did not have, that would let artists and designers collaborate way more effectively and iterate more affectionately than they ever had in any of the Halo games. Here's a postcard for a place in Destiny called the Buried City, which is located on Mars. This postcard does a great job of capturing that unified theme Bungie was going for. Creating these isn't just for art direction and the artists. They were used for planning and discussing graphic features with the graphic engineers. Once all the disciplines have signed off on those target looks for those spaces, they could move confidently into production with a target that they could all rally around. Here's one of those postcards from the moon. This postcard translates into Bungie's engine in Destiny. Bungie was able to turn these postcards into real destinations in their world by using their world building tool called the Grognot. Destiny isn't just about the places you go and the people you fight. It needs heroes to solve its mysteries and tackle its adventures. Heroes that when tackling these adventures become legends. Bungie wanted to make every player feel like a hero, allowing for millions of different kinds of heroes outbuilding their own personal legend. That's when Bungie looked towards character creation. They wanted each player to have their own opportunity to create their own character that is unique and special to them. Character creation will allow for many customizations in Destiny, such as race, class, appearance, guns, vehicles, and more. Bungie wanted you to feel like your own hero, from your armor to your weapons and all the way down to your face. Bungie is really creating its own path for next generation games, and Destiny is going to be a great game. I'm extremely excited to be a part of the community and experience what Destiny will become. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to hit that like button. Like all my videos, I put a lot of work in to create great content for you guys, and hitting the like button really helps me grow as a channel. This year I'm going to really start basing my channel around Destiny, so if you love the game and are interested in the community, be sure to subscribe. Also be sure to check back later this week for 2 new Destiny videos, one discussing faction, races, and classes, and also another covering armor, weapons, and vehicles. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.